Giving up smoking is the easiest thing in the world. I know, because I've done it thousands of times. Mark Twain. A recent study estimated that ex-smokers make between 6 and 30 attempts before successfully quitting smoking. So this is kind of what this video will be about, is detailing my attempts, how I quit smoking, because I've been smoke-free for almost a year now. And this is about the time of the year people are trying to quit smoking, and that's the most important thing, is to try and keep trying. And yeah, it took me almost at least 15 times. And each time it's like you're kind of slowly training yourself to be better, faster, better at not smoking. Yeah, and then you can be the $1 million not smoker and not have spend $1 million on smoking in your lifetime.
We have the technology, but I don't want to spend a lot of money.
Or however much it is, because it's a lot. Here, let's whip out the calculator. I know that lots of places do this, but let's do it quick. In Canada, it's freaking ridiculous for smokes. I was paying 20 bucks a pack for, like, name brand cigarettes. So, I mean, let's say 5 times a week times, whatever, we'll just do the math, times 12. It's about $4,800. So, say you're gonna live 60 years, that's $288,000, right? That's a lot of coinage. And that's not even, you know, that's $20 today. So you're probably looking at $500,000 by the time it's all said and done, because I used to smoke like 2 packs a day when I was younger. It's quite freeing once you're finally smoke-free for a period of time, knowing that you don't have to have that thing all the time. Have to make sure if you're going somewhere that you have enough to get you through the week, or if you're gonna have enough to wake up to in the morning, or if you're gonna have to run to the store in the blizzard to get another smoke because you're almost out soon. You know, it's just nice not to have to worry about that. That's for sure. And after the first 3 days are kind of your hardest, since that's, you know, when the nicotine is mostly addictive in your system. But after those 3 days, the cravings get a lot easier.
They mostly come at night, mostly.
Yeah, nicotine withdrawal symptoms usually are gonna last you about, you know, 1 to 3 months. And I'd say mine definitely lasted for a good 3 months. I quite wanted a cigarette for a while. I'm not gonna lie. But, you know, the peak is 3 days-ish, when you're gonna, like, really want to smoke. But it's really important, if you do break, and you do have a puff, or you do have half a smoke, is not to get stuck in that self-perpetuating cycle of being like, well, I failed. No, keep frickin' trying. Like, you know, that's the thing, is you'll shame yourself into smoking much easier than you will pride yourself for the work you did do. Like, if you made it 3 days without a smoke and then you break and you have a smoke, well, don't be shamed and be mad at yourself for having a smoke. Be proud that you made it those 3 days and try again. You know, don't stop. Go again. You know, so you're gonna experience a lot of symptoms such as, you know, nicotine cravings, anxiety, irritability, depression, and weight gain. I gained quite a bit of weight. I've always loved cookies, so I ate myself a lot of cookies and crushed a lot of cakes. Oh yes, I have crushed me some cakes. But you know what? I've quit, and hey, I might be 30 pounds more, but that's just gonna happen. It's estimated that smokers on average burn 200 more calories than non-smokers. So right there alone, you're already gaining, you know, weight just from not smoking, let alone what you're going to be shoving down your gullet. So, alright, let's do the math on that. 200 calories times 7 days times 4 months or 4 weeks is 5,600 calories a month that you'll be gaining extra. So that's basically a pound right there. Let's call that a pound. You know, they say a pound's about 3,600-ish, depending on who you are. So let's call it a pound and a half, pound and a half. That you'll just be gaining from quitting. Let alone the amount of cookies and pastries and stuff you're going to be eating, because not only are you going to be craving food more, but food is going to start tasting a lot better too. And that is the thing that you don't really. Man, food tastes really good now. Like, I forgot how decent food was. A lot of meals I just kind of slog through, and you just kind of like, yeah, whatever. Cause yeah, it tastes. But now, man, holy crap, man, food comes alive in ways that I totally forgot ever since I was a kid. Like, I thought sugar just didn't taste as good anymore. It's like, but now I need a lot less, like, even icing. My icing doesn't have to be as sugary, or I don't need as much garlic, and I don't necessarily need as much salt. You know, I still like a lot of salt, but I don't need as much salt. So, you know, there's definitely some great benefits. And if you have a lot of anxiety, my anxiety, I would say, has been lesser. And a lot of that's from not worrying about money, you know, related to smoking. Because like I said, it's like almost 20 bucks a pack in Alberta, if you're buying it from the bar or whatever, if you want a good brand. I couldn't smoke the cheap stuff, but no, it made me feel like crap. Which is stupid to say, but yeah. And like, if you're like me and you have major depressive disorders and a lot of anxiety, it can make it really hard to quit, because like, smoking becomes quite the crutch. And for a long time, it was just like, have an anxiety attack or whatever, and it's just like, oh man, oh, and you instantly feel better, like almost instantly. So you really have to learn how to self-cope a lot more, which is a lot of re-education in a lot of ways, because you don't realize how much you really rely on smoking until you try to rely without it. And that's just one of those things, is you're hacking your body. It's one of the things a lot of people say, and it's true. You're making yourself have different chemicals to feel a certain way, so you don't have to be a certain way. So if you are one of those people that really smoke for depression, or really smoke for your anxiety, maybe go talk to a doctor and see about getting a prescription, and see about getting meds, and see what you can do. There's, you know, you can take Champix, or maybe even getting actual anxiety medication can help. But, you know, that talk definitely starts with your doctor. So what are some of my tips for quitting smoking? And I think my biggest tip would be to not tell people. And people feel really tempted to tell people that they're gonna do something. You know, like, I'm gonna climb Mount Everest or whatever. And as soon as you say your goal, or that you're gonna quit, you automatically feel affirmed by people who are like, yeah, you are gonna quit, Jim, or Steve, or Bill, or, you know, whoever. And you're like, yeah, I am gonna quit, and you automatically feel better. And your brain can't make the difference. It doesn't tell. It just is like, yes, I have good feeling, good. Me done smoking now. Me have smoke, reward self. And so what they call this is a social reality. And I first started really learning about this from Thomas Frank. He's got a YouTube channel, and I'll link that in the description and possibly at the end of the video. And he first heard a TED Talk by a guy named Derek Sivers, I can't remember what he said, who said, that resist the temptation to announce your goal, delay the gratification that the social acknowledgement brings, and understand that your mind mistakes the talking for doing. And this was, you know, something I noticed every time I would try to quit, and the times I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna quit, everybody. I just wouldn't. But the times where I secretly worked towards it, or I told one person maybe, and, you know, it was just like, no, I'm doing it. Those were the times I'd quit smoking for, you know, a week or 2 weeks, or... But the times where I'd tell a bunch of people, it'd maybe be for like an hour. You know, maybe a day, you know, just not very long at all. Yeah, it just gets to be depressing after a while. Yeah, announcing your goal gives you a false sense of accomplishment that you've taken that first step towards your goal. That's not to say you shouldn't tell anybody though, like, that was one of the things that did help me quit, is kind of have like one accountability buddy. To be accountability buddy.
Your accountability buddy. That makes you accountability buddyable.
And that one person is going to help a lot. And they're not... It's like, say when you go buy a pack of smokes, they're just going to be like, I thought you were quitting. Mike, for me, was that. He'd always kind of nag me a little bit. Not like nag, but remind me what, you know, I'm trying to do. And eventually I did stop. You just stop buying them. Yeah. That person should be helping you meet your goal of smoking less. You're not smoking in the car, or not smoking while you drive, or not smoking at all, or smoking a certain amount of cigarettes, or whatever, because there's a lot of ways to quit, and whatever way you try is maybe gonna work for you. It's probably gonna not work as great as you think, at least not that time. It's probably going to take you 6 to 30 times before that time or that method or any other method's going to work for you. And I don't know if it's that method or just the fact that you're trying, but either way, if a method is getting you to try, that's the important thing. Another video I want to mention is my Vertatisum on YouTube, where he explores the most radioactive places on Earth. And this was one that kind of stuck in my head a lot. And he subjected himself to going a lot of places with deadly, scary, ionizing radiation. But near the end of the video, he kind of compared the levels of radiation by fields of work. Like, starting out with ordinary background radiation, or somebody who gets a CT scan, or somebody living in areas affected by radiation, like Fukushima or whatever. Or, you know, people who work in radiation. Even to astronauts. But the one who held the title for getting the most taken in a year was
a smoker's lungs. A smoker's lungs, on average, receive 160,000 microsieverts worth of radiation every year.
Smokers. By, like, leaps and bounds. And the even scarier thing is like, you gotta think, these people are getting radiation all over their body, but you're getting radiation pretty much concentrated right into your lungs from the lead and all that crap that you're sticking inside of you. That's all, like, right in you, right in your lungs, right in there. For you. Hi. And radiation's scary. Like, if you start to research radiation at all and how that works and how it rips apart molecules, it's just like, you don't want that crap floating around in you. Like, oh, they say all these deadly chemicals have been ionizing radiation. that was the one that stuck in my head, you know. It's like, more ionizing radiation than an astronaut? So that's somebody, like, up in space without the miraculous bubble of an atmosphere we got, and you're still ingesting more willingly, and you don't get to, like, see the earth with your eyes. From space. So, I don't know, is that really worth it? And one last video I want to mention is helped keep me motivated to stay quit was from AsapSCIENCE. And they have like the whole timeline of what happens when you quit smoking. It's like, 20 minutes after your blood pressure starts to regulate, and yada yada yada. And it's a nice little timeline to kind of keep in your head after you have quit. It's like, how far did you make it? Did you make it to the lowering your risk of heart cancer? Or
Additionally, at this point, the risk of developing various coronary artery diseases decreases, all within 24 hours.
Did you actually, and it's a good motivator to see how you're improving yourself, essentially, just by stopping something. Because for some people, the money thing can be easy to, whatever, it's money, a lot of people don't care that much about it. It's easy to whittle your wallet away 20 bucks at a time. It's nice to kind of have that in your head, what you're working towards, I think is what I'm trying to say. Yes. Another big one I want to talk about is one of my personal reasons, and that was because of pets. And if you keep dogs or cats or birds especially, they get it really bad because they have a binary lung system, right? But pets get it really bad. They honestly, they do. You don't think about it, but they even get residuals from the smoke that falls onto the ground, and they're rolling around on the floor, and then they're licking their fur. Yeah, so dogs do get pretty addicted to nicotine. Cats as well. You don't really think about it, but they do, and that can be why a lot of animals are irritable when their owners aren't around, or why that dog's just kind of mean, or things like that. And it's kind of just a weird thing to think about, but a lot of people just don't think about it. And they do say that smokers who hear about the dangers to their pets, it does make them want to quit more. And I would say it definitely made me want to quit more. But like even biopsies taken from dogs, carbonated just like we are, and they can suffer a lot from asthma. Just nasty crap that we shouldn't be subjecting our animals to, if we really care about them at all. And even a lot of dogs have a lot of skin disorders, and a lot of those are caused by the nicotine and the tar and the smoke. And they'll get allergies, and they'll be scratching a lot, or they'll have a lot of dandruff, or all these things. Colombian and Japanese veterinarians also looked into DNA in dogs that were exposed to secondhand smoke, and a lot of the changes were associated with, smoking-induced lung disease and emphysema, as well as cancer, that were being expressed in these genes as compared to dogs that just aren't that are in a smoke-free environment. There's a lot less known about cats, unfortunately. I guess it's probably because more scientists have cats, and scientists don't like to screw with their cats because they love them more than dogs. No, that's not true. But the big thing cats can get is lymphoma, and it's cancer. The lymphatic system, obviously, which is the most common tumor in cats. But another big reason you might want to quit smoking is if you're going to be going for surgery soon. It's been examined in a lot of randomized trials. Each week of ceasing smoking prior to surgery equals, an increase of 19% of less complications, which is pretty significant if you don't want to be dying under the knife. No fun. Ends up just costing, well, especially in Canada, we're socialist healthcare, so smokers really are costing us a lot of money. Once you get to a certain age, your likelihood of going under the knife increases quite a bit. Your expectations and attitude are significant factors in wanting to quit, though. Like, don't expect, like, a lot of people are I'm gonna quit today, and like right on the first here, and it's probably not gonna happen. You're probably gonna fail at least once, maybe twice, before you finally do quit, even this year. If you're really trying hard. And if you quit smoking before you're 30, that was always my goal, was to quit smoking before I was 30. Since if you... What are you doing? Since if you do quit smoking pretty well before you're 30, you're expected to live pretty well as long as a person who never did smoke. So that's one of the big important things, is to create a quit plan. Maybe quit on a week you know you have off, or when you know you have a vacation coming up, so you're not like, for those first 3 days, really being an irritable jackass to your coworkers, you know? And talk to your doctor if you can. Maybe if you have tried to quit, 10 to 15 times, maybe a solution like Champix is right for you. I know I personally tried a lot of nicotine replacement therapies, and none of them worked for me. I tried the gum, didn't do it for me. I also tried... What else did I try? Oh, and I tried those vaporizer things that kids are doing nowadays, e-cigs, but I found I smoked way more after I used those than before I smoked. Than before I used them. Just because of the fact that it gave me the ability to smoke pretty well anywhere I wanted to in a world that's usually minus 40. So yeah, that was kind of... That didn't work for me. Just sitting on the couch smoking again, rather than having to go outside and freeze your butt off, really makes you smoke more than you think you would. Try to quit by your birthday, or quit by your spouse's birthday, or your friend's birthday, or somebody's birthday. And that gives you kind of time to try to wean yourself a little bit, I find. Like my one friend Dalen, he used the inhaler thing for a long time, and that helped him. He would still bum smokes a lot though, in social situations where there was smokes to be bummed, or if people offer you a smoke, you're really probably gonna take it. So you might want to just not talk to people who smoke anymore. At least for a while. It doesn't bother me anymore. My friend Mike, his parents are really heavy smokers, and I can go to their house now, and I'm not sitting there, oh my god, I want a cigarette so bad. I just want one. I don't have that anymore, so that's pretty okay. Because that got old. It's hard to go places. Then you're gonna notice how much people stank, and you're gonna be like, oh shit, they're complaining about all this time. I get it now. So yeah, I think it really helps to clean up everything smoking related that you possibly can to the max degree. Try to get rid of every butt and ashtray and scrap of cigarette you can. And for me, I put my cigarettes up there, out of sight, away. It was, not a lot of work, but it was enough work you really had to talk yourself into it. You had to ask yourself, do you want to smoke? Try to make as many kind of little slight barriers to it as you can, just so you're kind of reconditioning your behavior. It's what else could I do instead of not smoke? And for a while you might just be eating things. I know for about a week I watched this show called Cereal Time on YouTube. He's got a lot of episodes out, and I just pretty well ate a lot of cereal and watched Cereal Time for a week. Those first 3 days are rough, but after that it starts getting easier. And you're gonna find you're gonna need a lot more hobbies. That would be my big tip. Get a hobby. I know I can't play as many online games as I used to, because a lot of those had queues and waiting times, and every time it was oh well, it's just a lobby, I'll just have a cigarette. Oh, I got 30 seconds between matches, have a cigarette, every time. And it's a very conditioned behavior almost after a while. So now I kind of still feel compelled to smoke when I play those games. So luckily for me, I was able to get really addicted to Fallout 4. And I wasted about 8 days of my life playing that. You know, not concurrently, but over a couple months, because, you know, like those late night hours are especially hard, I found. Like those 3 to 4 hours before bed when you don't really have anything to do and you're usually just sitting around watching TV, relaxing, smoking. You're gonna have to frickin' do something. You can't just sit there. You're gonna have to play a game or do something. Otherwise you're gonna be smoking. So I've learned a lot about electronics this year. I've learned a lot about camera stuff. I've learned a lot about websites. I've learned a lot about a lot of things. A lot. And whatever. I'd rather... I mean, you don't notice how lazy smoking kind of makes you, because it makes you really comfortable with doing nothing. Because that was the thing I always said, I'll never be able to quit smoking, is because what will I do when I'm waiting? And it's like, well, if you're bored, that's your fault. And it's really easy to not be bored when you always have something to stick in your mouth and suck on.
We're just done with phrasing, right? That's not a thing anymore?
So, yeah. I hope this helps somebody. It's kind of janky and all over the place, but I do hope it helps. Watch those videos. I could talk all day about this, but just try. Like, that's the most important thing, is you gotta keep trying. Like, nobody runs a marathon their first go. You gotta work for it, and this is one of the harder things you're gonna work for in your life, so just start working at it. And now's the best time of the year to start working at it. There's lots of people working at it too, so that's always kind of a nice little motivator. I quit. It wasn't like right. Like, I tried to quit on the 1st and I lasted for about 2 days. And then it took me about another week. And then I lasted for about a week. And then I cracked. And then I lasted for, you know, a little while longer. And like I said, you can't take a crack as a fail. You know, it's really easy to get into that again. Just because you cracked doesn't mean you failed. Like, yeah. Check out all these videos: Vertatisum, Thomas Frank, AsapSCIENCE, and subscribe to us for more as well. Click the chicken!